hide, I would definitely get every little bit of that off. More right there. And again, just all right, brother. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our, ram hide out here. I've been starting to clean it up a little bit already, but we're gonna take it out of here and lay it out, spread it all out on the table here, and then we're going to start at it with the knife just a little bit, kind of work things out, and I'll check back with you in a second. All right, so we've got this, I'm up here in the driveway, got this outside of the garage because it kind of smells a little bit. Not smells bad like rotten meat, but it smells more like bad like a dirty goat. So you can see we've got everything kind of laid out here. And basically what you want to do is you want to get it down to this kind of white tissue here, the skin tissue. So you want to get rid of all the fat, you want to get rid of all the meat and poop and everything else. We want to get rid of all that stuff and basically just get it down to this white fleshy tissue so we can go ahead and put the salt on. So we're going to fast forward and go ahead and do that, and I'll catch back with you in just a minute. All right, hopefully this comes out because I'm using this thing on the bill of my hat. Okay, so basically what you want to do, one thing you want to look at, so you see, again, we've got the differences in the two tissues here. So we got the white kind of drum-like tissue, and then we got this stuff here. So the way you want to do this to get this off, I'm using a razor sharp knife. This is a Victorinox. This is a Swiss knife, really sharp. You find these for actually really cheap on Amazon, but they're really, really good knives. But you can see I don't need to do a lot of slicing and dicing on this and everything. I just need to kind of just nick it right to get it started here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm pulling up on the skin here, on that tissue rather, and I'm just making little nicks. I'm like, I can literally do this with just like these fingers here. I don't need to push on it hard, so I'm just pulling tension to stretch that tissue out. And then I'm just kind of nicking it with the knife so that I can pull it and separate it from the rest of the skin here. So you see, stretch, small cut, just so I can get it, kind of get it free. Let's use a different section here. So this is a good piece. So I get a nice good hold of it. I'm kind of pinching it and pulling it. And again, making just tiny little cuts here to kind of free it from the hide, okay? And you can see I'm using just 2 fingers here on the blade. I'm not pushing really hard. And also you notice how there's like a separation in 2 different tissues here, right? So you got the white, and again you got that fleshy tissue that's on, it's like the skin right here. This hide right here needs to be separated from that. And so what I'm doing is I'm stretching it, but I'm not cutting here. I'm cutting right there. So basically I'm just cutting at where that tissue is being pulled, and then it frees it up. So it frees up that tension there. If I cut too low, and if I cut right here on the white part, on the hide that I want to stay there, then what'll end up happening is that it'll cut and it'll make holes in it. See, I did that once right here on accident, so you can see there's a little hole right there. So I don't want to do that. So again, I cut real close to that line where the 2 tissues meet. You can see that, but I always cut on the tissue, on the side of the tissue that I want to remove, okay? So a little bit faster here. Again, I'm just going to kind of pull tension, nick, almost cut too low there. There we go. And just keep pulling. Now this is much easier with a draw knife, but I forgot my draw knife at the ranch in Doss, so I got to do it like this. This is the old school method. Normally what you would do is you would take this whole hide and you would lay it over like a stump or something, and then what you do is get a draw knife, which is basically a 2-handed knife that you just go like this and you kind of scrape everything off. kind of using the blade like this, right? But again, I don't have that luxury because I forgot it with me. And with this hide too, I don't need to be crazy neat with it because I'm not going to use this side of it. I just don't want this fat and tissue to get putrid on me, which would be bad. But either way, whenever I do the process of salting this, it's going to take care of most of that, and it's all going to become tough, and it's not going to stink or anything like that. It's going to be cured and dried, and so it won't have an odor to it. Once I get all this done, I'll check back in with you guys, and again, I'm not going to go 100% with it. I'm just getting most of it because I want it to look good in case the skin side is shown. But we'll check in with you guys again in just a minute. Alright, so this is kind of the speed run version of this. Basically, I've got almost all of the fat and the meat off. I think all the meat is off. There's just a little bit of this kind of fatty skin tissue. But once I do the curing on it, that will all come off. Again, this is a speedrun version. If I was going to display this as a hide, just a raw hide, I would definitely get every little bit of that off. I would also go through and stitch up all these little holes that were either from my broadhead or from you know, the process of cleaning this off. I'm not going to do that today, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put the salt on it. So to salt it, basically this process, this is what I use. I use the Morton or any brand canning and pickling salt, and basically what this is going to do is it's going to suck all the moisture out of this, and it's going to cure anything left on there. So the hide and everything else is going to be cured. So what I like to do is I like to go ahead and salt it first so that I can draw all the moisture out of it as possible. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take it out, I'll wash it, clean it really good, and then, because like I said, I'm not using this side of it, I'm using this side of it. So I'll do all that, I'll wash it, I'll clean it, and then we'll put the salt on there, and then that way we're good to go. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm gonna pop this open. And these boxes of salt are cost like almost nothing. So this is the one time it's good in your life to be liberal. So all right, so as you can see, I got the salt on there. I'm just gonna kind of push it around, pat it in nice and good so that it gets inside there. And then push it all around. And then once I got that done, I'm just gonna fold skin to skin. So I'm gonna take this part, fold it over there, and tuck that in. Now I'm gonna let this sit, and I'm gonna let that all dry out. And then any trimming I need to do, I'm going to do that later, but I'm going to go ahead and let this sit. And just fold it all the way up here so we can get as much of that moisture out of there as possible. Basically what we did is we took the thing, I emptied all the salt off there. Almost forgot to record this for y'all. And basically what it is, I just rinsed it all off. So I rinsed all the salt off, and you can see this is turning nice and white. Still got that fleshy stuff, but I'm not worried about that. So basically what I did now is I came and I used the hose here and I rinsed off the back side of the hide here and everything, and made sure that the fur was really clean. So once I cleaned it all off and everything, I started working with it, and there's a bunch of these little burrs, these little some kind of cactus burr or something like that, but I took all those out of it. I was able to really find those much easier by getting the hide nice and wet. And basically what that does is it makes those little burrs kind of within the hair kind of float to the surface, so I can run my hand along there and I can feel all these little things like that, little lumps and caught in there. And what it's going to do is this is going to make you know, the quality of the actual pelt look better. I can kind of go through after I've already tanned it and brush all this stuff out, but I want to try to get as much of it out now before I get to that step as I can. So that's all I'm doing. I'll show you kind of what I hear. I'll just come over here. Sorry about the noise. That AC unit's a little loud. But again, turn the hose on. And this is basically just what I'm doing here. Kind of just flood the hair so that it sticks up. And then I'm feeling inside of it here. All right, so as you can see, like whenever I do this, like we got a nice little pad of water inside there. And it allows me to kind of just run my hand through here and just feel for any burrs. Again, this was shot in an area where there's a lot of cactus. I feel something right there. Anything out of the hair that I can. Kind of get some of the stink out of the hair, because like I say, these goats, in this case this goat or this ram, kind of smelly. It kind of helps get some of the stink out of the hair too. All right. Okay, now that I got all the most of the burrs out, I think I got them all. I can go back again once we finish tanning this. I'm gonna kind of just slick all this water out of here. Okay. Let's get it all smoothed out. Couple more burrs. Kind of smooth it out here. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna flip it back over. I'm gonna re-salt it and then let it sit again with the salt side up. Okay. All right, bro, it's getting late and kind of getting dark outside, but basically what I'm gonna do now is just show you what to do to stretch. So basically get these, pull some finishing nails, and grab a hammer, and we're gonna stretch that goat out over a pellet that we found. So. All right, so we got our hide here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna nail it in. Basically, I'm gonna go out to the most outer part of this, stretch it, hammer it, stretch it, and hammer it, and so forth. All right, so basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get one nail, go to the, get a little bit of skin in there, just a little bit, so I can anchor it good, but not have it tear on me. Okay. Next, I'm gonna just go around in a circle, doing the same thing. Stretch it. That's why it's always good to have a little bit of extra skin on there. Wondering where I got the pallet? Found it behind a grocery store. So yeah, just keep going around, stretch, and nail. Salt it again. These boxes of salt literally cost just a couple dollars, or I think maybe even less than $2 at most grocery stores. So whenever I go buy it, I honestly will just buy them out. So that way I always have some. And if I need to do some pickling or something like that, then hey, I got plenty of salt for it. So again, I just get that white salt and just rub it in everywhere. Watch your hands, don't cut your hands on the nails you just placed. Coat everything really good. And again, all this salt here is just going to draw all that moisture out of the skin. Alright, here's what we got going on with the nail hide here. So you can see that all this salt, that's nice and cracking. That means that basically it drew all the water out of the hide that it could, and then it dried together. So all this needs to go off of here. So basically what I can do, the easiest way to do this is to just take this outside and rinse it off. And then what I can do is, once I've done that, you can see this hide is nice and hard. See this just, all this salt just flakes off here. Alright. So I can't find my scraper, so I'm going to do this. all of that off. So already something I could have done a little bit better is you see this wrinkle right here? I could have done a little bit better about getting that stretched out, but I'm okay with that. So really what I need to do is I just need to get the rest of this excess salt off there, and then we're going to get the tanning solution and rub that on. So the next step here is get this board. This is a 2x2 I got here. I got this from Home Depot. Basically this board right here we need to chop into a couple pieces, a few pieces. All right, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and I'm going to roughen up the edges a little bit, or sorry, smooth out the edges a little bit with some fine sandpaper. What I'm kind of doing is just, you see how straight those cuts are. I just kind of want to soften everything up a little bit, so it's a little less round, or a little more round, a little less straight. And when you're designing and building things like this, I think it's more. It's important to pay attention to details, little details and stuff, because that's what's going to, whenever it comes into the finished part, the people are going to notice when they take a look at it is, all the detail and the time that you put into paying attention to that detail. They're going to notice that when they look at it. If I want to get real fancy with it too, I can even kind of take chunks out of the corners here, kind of, again, add to that kind of weathered look of it, and I hit it with that sandpaper, and you can see it kind of makes it look a little bit more worn and weathered here. I'll do that on this side too. Take a little chunk out of that corner. Same thing, I'll do one up here. And then sand it smooth. Back here, there's our wood pieces here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just stain these guys. To do that, I'm wearing some gloves. Get some stains. This is some, what color is this? Red mahogany. I'm using a paper towel here. And just spreading it on. Go, so I like that color before and after. So you can see I like that red mahogany color. Maybe this little spot on the end there. You don't want to see that little spot right there. I'm gonna make sure I get this all up in those little grooves and stuff, so I don't have two tones of wood here. Drip it on nice and thick. Get it all in the hole. Okay. If you've never really messed with wood stain before, I do not recommend doing this in your nice hunting clothes, because once the stain gets on there on your clothes, it is not coming out whatsoever. So call it stain for a reason. That looks gorgeous right there. I like it. I really like the way that's looking. Once I get that where I think I'm pretty good there, I'll kind of wipe this and take off all the excess, and I'll lighten it up a little bit, and also create a little bit of a color variation as well. I really dig that. You see how you can see that wood grain really more whenever I wipe it off. So the stain penetrated in there real good, soaked in where it needed to, darkened up the darker areas really well, especially the rougher areas like the little knots and things like that, and then you got kind of a lighter texture where there's actual wood grain and where it's a little harder piece of wood. So basically what we did at this point was go in and take our different pieces, which we have 2 cross members and 2 long pieces here. I just did some pre-drilled pilot holes and just made sure that the links from the top to the bottom were the same length, and I used a unibit here to do a little bit of countersinking there so that the screw will actually go inside the wood there, and that way make sure that it's all flush and it's neat looking. I'll wrap it up here in a little bit with some twine, and that's going to make it, you know, kind of look a little bit neater, and it's going to hide those screw holes as well. So again, just drill a nice pilot hole, line up your cross member, and then just go and put your screws in. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is put the screw in, advance it a little bit.
Yeah, I can hold it.
Okay, hold that like that. I see it just poking out there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right there. Okay. Ooh. Yep, we're good.
Oh.
Okay. There we go. Now it sucked. Good job. So that sucked it in nice and tight. There we go.
Since it's spinning around, I think we need to do it a little more.
I think you're right. A little bit more. There we go. That's tight now.
Wait, I keep spinning it just to test. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Now this one, hold that like that.
Hold on.
It's okay.
I got it in my head.
Yeah, it gets itchy sometimes when it's sweating out here. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this in a little bit. Let's see how. See where tell me it comes poking out.
I can't see that very good. Oh, see it.
Okay, so you see the hole in there?
Yeah.
Look on there. You see the hole?
Yeah, right here.
I'm talking about this piece. You see the hole in that?
Oh yeah.
All right, so put it on there and then help you. Okay, lift it up and squeeze through it. Oh wait, yeah, there you go. Good. Okay, let me hold this one for you. You want to drive this one in?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So advance it a little bit. It's nice and slow. I'll tell you when. Oh wait, we got to go the other way. So switch this. Now, there you go. Push a little bit harder. Push a little harder and squeeze a little bit less. Okay, keep going.
Oh.
That's good. All right. Now do the other side.
What are we doing exactly? What is this for?
I'm making a pack frame for a mount that I'm gonna mount that ram head and skull on. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Look up. Pull off. There we go. Look at that. Good job, dude.
Wait, hold on. Have fun.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. Cool. Now we got that finished. Now what I do is we got to get this. We got to get the twine, and we're gonna strap our ram skull to it. I'll give you a little preview of what we're gonna be looking at. I'm holding it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be doing something like that, but we're gonna have the pack underneath it. Yep. Wrapping this whole project up, and I have to apologize. I'm missing a little bit of the footage here because my 6-year-old wanted to help me with the project, and so I kind of got a little gap in the data here because I let him help me with the project. But here's where we're at so far. Got the overall frame built. You can see basically what we've done since the last time we checked in was we just finished screwing everything together here. You know, he put some screws in here and everything. I countersunk those screws. And then what I did is I took some twine and I kind of just wrapped this to make it look like it was held together by the twine. This twine is just, let's see, I got the roll around here somewhere. Here it is. So it's basically just some arts and crafts twine, nothing fancy. You can buy this stuff at Hobby Lobby. If you don't know what Hobby Lobby is, go ask your wife where all your money goes, because she probably knows exactly where to find Hobby Lobby. But anyway, so basically just take this stuff. It's just some raw I think this is actually a hemp twine. I could be wrong, but this raw twine here. And I just kind of, what I did is I just kind of crossed it around. So I go like around that way and around this way, through there, and then do like, you know, a few turns that way. Basically, I just wrap it all up like that, and then I tie it off. And like I said, again, we end up with this. Kind of got a little pattern here. I probably could have made that a little bit neater, but again, for me, I like the idea of it kind of being a little bit raw, so it looks a little bit more, kind of lends a little bit more authenticity to the look of it. Obviously, it's not an actual, you know, old school mountaineering frame backpack, but here's basically what we're doing. I took the ram hide here. This thing's so soft, it's amazing. This is almost probably one of the parts of the ram that I was the most excited about. And so this is how I'm going to be packaging it on here. And this is why I really didn't need to go into too much detail with, you know, the hide, the processing process, you know, as far as tanning the hide and everything. I didn't need to go through every little detail, get every little thing off, because really in the end, this is what I really needed, was this kind of right here. So basically I got this all packaged up. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of strap it on the frame like so. And we got a couple of decisions to make. Do I want this to sit like that, or do I want it, I think I want to have it like this. And then I'm going to strap it together just like that, basically. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the hide here first. I'm going to kind of attach it with some of this twine. I think I'm going to do it like this, get the fluffy side up to the top here. And let me flip it around, because that's where I'm going to put the knots and make it look good like that. What we're working on, speed is a mess on the workbench. I got 6 projects going on here. But basically what I did is I laid everything out there. I got the hide tied on here. You can see I just kind of looped it around there, made it nice and tight, and then finished it off. So it's all tied on now. Just set the skull on top of that. And then now first I'm going to tie it off here at the horns, and then I'm going to bring that up to the base of the antlers, or the base of the horns here, and then tie that down like that. And I'll show you in just a second when we got the mostly finished project together. Alright guys, so here's the finished product, and so this is what we're working with. This is the ram that we shot in the ram hunt video. If you haven't checked that out, go ahead and go check it out. This is what we're working with, though, man. It's really nice. It's been a fun project. You can see from the back side there. Again, this is what we finished with, and I really like it, man. I think it's really cool. Again, this design is not quite my original idea here, but I really like this, man. I think it's a really cool way to honor the animal's life and make things look just flat out cool. Sorry for the quality of this video. I know sometimes it'll be kind of crappy because I'm trying to do so many things at once, but thanks for watching the video, guys. Thanks for liking and subscribing to the channel, and don't forget, always keep defying the odds, guys. See ya.